Everywhere, GBS.
Good afternoon from Nairobi, Kenya's capital. It's 1 p.m. and you are tuned in to The Ambassador. I am your ambassador, Paul Madenge. This is the space where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. To our first story, a Kenyan engineer is turning the deadly water hyacinth into an eco-friendly innovation that promises clean energy and sustainable products, offering hope to communities long affected by the invasive weed. Here are the details.
For years, the water hyacinth choked major water bodies such as Lake Naivasha and Lake Victoria, crippling fish, transport, and local economies. Engineer Joseph Nguziru developed a technology that converted the invasive plant into a biogas, organic fertilizer, and biodegradable materials. Local residents, once plagued by the menace, benefited from cheaper fuel and new sources of income. Environmental experts praised the initiative, noting its potential to ease pollution while creating green jobs.
According to UNEP, water hyacinth is the world's most invasive aquatic weed. It floats on top of water and it blocks oxygen from reaching underground, and this kills important aquatic life. In addition to that, it also is a problem when it comes to navigation, irrigation, fishing, and important other blue economic activities, and also forms a breeding ground for mosquitoes that then cause malaria to the communities living around.
The water hyacinth was first introduced into Africa decades ago and rapidly spread across lakes and rivers. In Kenya, it blocked fishing boats, depleted oxygen levels in water, and endangered aquatic life. Government efforts to eradicate it often failed, as mechanical removal and chemical sprays proved costly and unsustainable. One of engineers Joseph's innovation is seedling bags that are planted directly into the soil, releasing nutrients, a solution that boosts growth and is eco-friendly.
So our solution at Higher Park is to use one problem of water hyacinth to solve yet another problem of plastic waste pollution, while creating green jobs for the local communities. What makes our solution unique is that we are filling in the vacuum of making products that feel like plastics, perform like plastics, but they are going to biodegrade and disintegrate after a short time.
For normal trees, you will have to remove the plastic bag so that you can plant the tree. But for ours, you insert this seedling into the soil together with the plant, and as it decomposes, it releases nutrients that accelerate the growth rate of this plant.
The engineer's eco-friendly innovation will be expanded to more counties, where it will provide renewable energy, promote environmental conservation, and support Kenya's fight against climate change. In the coming years, the project will also create more employment opportunities for youth, empower women in local communities through training, and inspire similar innovations across Africa. With government and private sector support, the invention will be scaled up to industrial levels, positioning Kenya as a leader in green technology. Molin Rono for GBS News.
And now moving on, Ugandan opposition leader Robert Kyagulanyi, popular known as Bobi Wine, has been cleared to run in the presidential election scheduled for January. The Electoral Commission has confirmed a week after rejecting his initial submission. After Wednesday's decision, Wine, a pop star turned politician, can once again challenge President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is seeking a record seventh term in office. The 81-year-old has ruled the country since 1986. Let's have a look.
During the 2021 election, Wine secured 35% of the vote, while Museveni won with 58%, his poorest margin of victory since taking power. After the results, Wine accused Museveni of ballot stuffing and fraud, and at least 54 people were killed while protesting against the outcome. Wine was placed under a house arrest in the aftermath.
Everywhere! Moving time!
His party, the National Unity Platform, NUP Party, now has the largest number of seats among the opposition in parliament, with much of its support coming from working class communities in urban areas.
We are going to use this election to protest legally. We are going to use this election to protest constitutionally, and we are going to use this election to protest non-violently. We must mobilize the people of Uganda to come out and vote in very, very large numbers. Numbers too big to rig.
Museveni has urged his supporters to back his vision for Uganda's future after electoral officials announced his nomination in Kampala on Tuesday. A constitutional amendment in 2017 removed the presidential age limit of 75, allowing him to extend his rule. Bobi Wine now remains as Museveni's main rival.
I want to thank the NRM members for again showing trust in me and electing me as the NRM chairperson, and also for the flag bearer. As we have discussed in our inner organs, but before I talk about the future, I hope nobody will accuse the Electoral Commission for campaigning for me.
The Electoral Commission chairman told the media that the electoral body is trying to create a safe space for the opposition to campaign and to make sure that the police are not very heavy-handed.
Our sword of attack and defense, the law. Whoever tries to cajole us or to arm twist us to do something that is not in the law, we say, but the law does not permit that, sir or madam. We cannot go that direction because the law does not permit it.
But a lot of Ugandans are worried about what has been going on, and they don't believe that this election is going to be free, fair or credible. Another prominent opposition figure, Kizza Besigye, aged 68 years, remains in jail in Kampala on treason charges after being seized from neighboring Kenya in November. He has denied any wrongdoings and accusations. Besigye has challenged Museveni in 4 elections without success. Davis Karani for GBS News, Kampala, Uganda.
And now moving on, Typhoon Ragasa has made landfall in China, where around 2 million people have been evacuated. At least 17 people have died in Taiwan after a lake burst, causing severe flooding in the east. Geologists are describing it as a tsunami from the mountains. Months' worth of rain is expected in Zhuhai City as it hunkers down for the king of storms. Ragasa has weakened from super to severe typhoon status but remains highly destructive with top winds of 241 kilometers per hour, equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane. Ragasa is the world's strongest storm this year and has been roaring over the South China Sea for days. Typhoon did not make landfall in Hong Kong but left 90 people injured after it is scattered the coastline, unleashing powerful winds and heavy rain. Now that story takes us to our first break. We'll be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Stay tuned.
So last year you were nominated for the Digital Creators Awards.
Yes.
Yeah, and you bagged second place for Creator of the Year. Yeah, tell us about that experience.
But by the time I was leaving university, the vice chancellor had bought my art piece.
Wow.
To hang in his office.
Wow.
Yeah.
The difference between pointillism, stippling, dot mandala, and dotilism.
Okay.
Mostly do art with dots, with lines, and I like to just think of myself as a versatile artist when it comes to patterns. What has words but never speaks?
Hi kids! Welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. So kids, Are you ready to listen to our today's Bible story? Are you ready to listen?
You're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands.
Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Samson was a mighty man, a mighty man was he. Between a want or a need, which one is more wise?
So it's anime and cosplay in Kenya.
I came to know about anime when I was a teenager, because that's when I knew, oh, it's not a cartoon, it's an anime. And I came to realize, oh, it's a whole thing and it's a whole culture and it's a whole community behind it.
I remember I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, but that time I didn't know it was
anime.
I thought it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And now, welcome back to The Ambassador as we break down the development news for you and get the bigger picture on what's happening globally. Now, moving on, a new HIV prevention injection will be sold at $40 a year in 120 low and middle income countries starting in 2027. The deal was signed today by global health groups and a drug manufacturer. Let's have a look.
Lenacapavir is a new HIV prevention drug developed by Gilead Sciences. It is given as an injection twice a year and has shown strong result in stopping HIV infections.
We've been able to respond directly to calls from communities as well as countries that we serve for affordable access. Unitaid, together with the Clinton Health Access Initiative, as well as the Reproductive Health and HIV Institute of Wits University, partnered with Dr. Reddy's Laboratories and have just secured a landmark $40 price for lenacapavir, the twice yearly injectable for HIV prevention.
A new deal will allow Dr. Reddy's Laboratories to make a cheaper version of the injections. The price will be $40 a year, the same as daily HIV pills. Until now, HIV prevention mostly relied on daily pills, which many people struggle to take regularly.
By working with our implementing partners and generic manufacturers in a competitive manner, we have been able to anticipate the price that will otherwise have come much later, delaying the use of this life-saving product. But the work is not finished. We need to continue supporting country adoption and demand generation with communities, removing barriers for all countries in need.
The deal was signed by UNITAID, CHAI and WITS RHI. The World Health Organization has already approved the drug. The injection will be available in 120 low and middle-income countries by 2027.
And what's more, generic supplies are expected to be available by 2027, which is less than 2 years after regulation in high-income countries. That kind of speed is unprecedented.
Global Health Group, like the PEPFAR and the Global Fund, plans to buy doses for 2 million people before the rollout begins. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Ibrahim Said.
And now moving on, French President Emmanuel Macron met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York on September 24, 2025. They discussed key issues including Russia's recent airspace provocations, Ukrainian air defense needs, sanctions against Moscow's shadow fleet, and the use of frozen Russian assets to benefit Ukraine. Both leaders paid particular attention to mechanisms that would allow frozen Russian assets to be used without violating international law. This meeting was part of Zelensky's high-level engagement at the UNGA, where he also met other world leaders and addressed the assembly about the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict and security challenges in Europe. Macron also used his UNGA platform to emphasize the need for collective action to end wars and uphold peace, highlighting shared global challenges.
How are you? Minister, how are you? How are you? We arrived pretty much the same day. We arrived on Monday, both of us, and we will leave today as well. So we have several meetings.
And now to our developing news. Africa is taking charge of climate action, mobilizing resources to promote green growth and renewable energy, with a strong message that economic growth and climate action are inseparable. At a high-level UN climate event in New York, co-hosted by Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Brazil President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Africa made a bold call for global solidarity. Here are the details.
Economic growth, ladies and gentlemen, and climate action are inseparable. Ignore the climate, the development will unravel. Confront the crisis, and new pathways for green inclusive growth open. That is why new, predictable, and innovative financing must be unlocked. At COP28 in Dubai, building on the Nairobi Declaration, we launched the Global Solidarity's Levies Task Force. A fast breakthrough came this June when 8 countries, including Kenya, formed a coalition to introduce solidarity levies on premium class flyers. These initiatives must inform the Baku to Belém roadmap to mobilize the 1.3 trillion that developing countries urgently need. Africa is already stepping up. At this year's Africa Climate Summit, 8 leading African financial institutions signed a cooperation framework to unlock US $100 billion in investment capital. At the same time, when the world risks fragmentation and a retreat into transactional politics, Africa is leaning forward to shape its own destiny. We now invite the global community to join us, to stand with us in this noble undertaking. This is the moment to be bolder, to show genuine climate solidarity, and to silence the naysayers. I thank you for your attention.
And now we will bring you more of that story in our next bulletin. That's how we wrap up today's edition of The Ambassador. I am your Ambassador Paul Mathenge, and it's been great having you with me here on GBS TV Africa. Stay tuned for updates throughout the day, and be sure to join me every Thursday and Friday as we continue to debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company. Until then, goodbye.
Everywhere, GBS.